According to SOS USA, there are over 7 million children in institutional care worldwide. That means there are 7 million children without permanent homes and without a family. In 2012, in the US, there are only 7,000 children who got adopted. That leaves plenty more without permanent homes. Adoption not only saves lives, but creates long-lasting love for the family, including the parents and the child that is being adopted. My main points that I'll be focusing on today are what is adoption, why someone would choose adoption, and the pros and cons of adopting. What is adoption, you may ask? Adoption is the taking on legal responsibilities of a child that is not biologically yours. The first step of adopting would be the child going into foster care. Foster care is a home that the child is placed that is only temporary. They could be placed in this home prior to the adopting process or during an adopting process. There are 397,122 kids without permanent homes, according to the Congressional Coalition on Adoption. How kids get into foster care. There are many reasons kids get into foster care, and some of these reasons include abuse, mental, physical, or sexual abuse, them being unwanted, them going into an orphanage when their parents drop them off. This poses a threat to the adopting process because you need parent permission. Another reason would be the kids getting taken away due to drugs or abuse, like I mentioned before. The second step is actually the adoption process. The adoption process can be either long or short. It depends on the needs and wants of the family and the needs and wants of the adoption attorneys and adoption court. These may vary because of circumstances. Some of these circumstances are being qualified. The parents might not be qualified to adopt in certain places like private orphanages or private government adoption centers. The paperwork becomes a huge problem if you have a lot of paperwork to fill out during adoption. Preferences are a huge problem for if you want a short adoption process. If parents want a certain gender or race for a child, then they will have to go through a longer process to find exactly what they would want. Another process that might take longer is the birth mother process, where the birth mother goes through an interview process to find parents that she feels that is suited for her child. The long or short processes can be the make or break point for parents wanting to adopt. Why would someone want to adopt? There are many reasons someone would want to adopt, such as they can't have their own kids. There might be some reason where they can't have their own children, and so they make a decision, the mom and dad or the parents, they might want to adopt and become a family, even though they can't have their own. They want to help out those in need. There are already a lot of children who are in need of families right now, and they might want to help out with that overpopulation instead of having their own kids. A huge question that is currently asked is, who is adoption harder on, the kids or the parents? This question is very hard to answer because it depends on each family. Kids have certain issues and certain qualities that they need help with, and parents as well. There might be trust issues for the kids going into a new family, and there might be money issues for the parents for a new kid. Getting ready for adoption can be very stressful for some and exciting for others. It just depends on what your circumstances are and what is going on in your life that day. Adoption can happen by being planned or not planned. The story that I have to tell you today is my story on adoption. I feel like I am qualified to speak about adoption because I have a very close-up personal experience with adoption because of my brother. My brother was adopted a couple of years ago by my family. My mom was on the internet searching, and ad popped up for an orphanage. She clicked on it and she saw the cutest little boy. It took 5 years to adopt my brother. 5 years. And that's not counting the foster care that we had to go through. It was a long process, but we are finally happy that we got to adopt my brother. There were many issues that he had to go with, such as trust issues. He had 3 prior families wanting to adopt, but none of them went through. It's hard on kids when people don't want them and people don't show them the love that they need. But when he finally got used to it, it was good for our family, my mom, my dad, my brother. Why adoption is good as a whole, you save a life. You save a kid's life of not being wanted to showing love and having them have a family. It helps children find their place in the world. And for the negatives, it's usually just money and the process that takes. Although adoption can be a long, grueling process, the reward that comes out is much bigger. So if you have any plans in the future, you might want to take this speech in mind and know a little bit more about it.